Today's guest is Ali Fraser. Ali has been a good friend of mine for the last 1 to 2 years, and he's one of the best when it comes to training and biomechanics. But he's also so clued up when it comes to the mentality that it takes to be successful in what you're trying to achieve, whether that's training, fitness, or health-related goals. Ali is the man to speak to. So in this episode, you can take so much when it comes to developing yourself as an individual, and I hope you enjoy it massively. If you've not already, before we get started, please follow on Spotify, please subscribe on YouTube, because it helps me out a lot more than you can imagine, and it will also keep you notified for the best episodes that are coming out over the next couple of months. Let's get into the episode. So what impact does dieting have on someone's mental health?
Oof, it's a good question. Depends probably where they are. So it's like if you're in like a good position in life, then dieting's just part of the process. Like everyone's on something, can't they? Do you know what I mean? Even if you're like trying to gain weight or lose weight, or you're just eating on a day-to-day basis, everything's quote unquote classed as a diet. But in regards to someone's mental health, I'll probably have to say like where are they in life in regards to if they're not in a good place or they're in a controlling place. It's one way for them to take control of another thing. But if they're not in a good place as well, and they're very, very visually, how can I describe this? Like they put their weight on their visual image, then they become obsessive. That could be really, really detrimental. And I think a lot of people, especially if they're taking diets to an extreme, need to understand that it's only for a period of time. Like you can't look like this forever because one, your body's not in a good place and it doesn't like being this condition, for example.
I think that's so important to put in perspective for people that they won't be looking that lean all year round if they are doing an extreme diet.
And you shouldn't want to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like you should want to potentially put on a bit of muscle and then lose fat and then try and do something else. Like your visual image isn't a value of you. Unless you're a bodybuilder to some degree, and like how you look as a physical specimen does sort of like determine how you do in the world, and that makes sense. Like, but besides that, like your body shouldn't determine who you are. It should just be a byproduct of the efforts that you put in, the lifestyle that you want to live.
Do you think a lot of people who do diet or get into the gym can struggle with the way that they perceive their own self-image?
I think everyone's got some kind of like body dysmorphia.
Yeah.
Like I still struggle with it to some degree. Of course I do. It's like I'm not gonna be naive and think I've mastered this shit. I haven't at all. We're all allowed to swear, aren't we?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Because otherwise this would be a very, very hard podcast for me. But no, it's like I think everyone does it to some degree. Like nobody visually sees what everybody else sees. So for example, like I'm 8 days out. Callum didn't see me for 10 days because he was there and everywhere at shows and he went to see his family, and I changed dramatically in them 10 days, but I don't visually see that because I see myself in the mirror every single day. I'm sending photos of me half naked in my bloody car park to Cuba every single morning, so you see the same thing. But when someone's not seen you for a long period of time, so my parents are supposed to come around tomorrow night to my flat, they've not seen me in like 2 or 3 weeks. I've lost 6 kilos I think in that 2 or 3 weeks. They're going to think I'm fucking ruined. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, because we visually see ourselves every single day, we might not notice these subtle changes that are happening over a period of time. And I think sometimes you just need to step back and think of things logically and look at the data. This is why I'm a big data kind of guy, because if body weight is moving in a certain way, that's proof of the pudding that something's changing. So even though you visually might not be seeing this, there's facts there that things are changing. Like, especially when it comes to like putting on tissue as well, it's like, it's a slow, monotonous process. It's fucking boring.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because like you've got to do it patiently, and also like, what you do then if you can't visually see yourself getting bigger? Because when you're getting leaner, you can see yourself getting leaner, can't you? Do you know what I mean? You can see these little changes over time. So you look at the gym performance. Like, are you getting stronger? And then like gym performance for me should be what really governs everything. Like most people get into the gym because they love to train, they love to get stronger, they love to get fitter. Like you're a high rocks wanker, aren't you? Know? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but you want to perform better. So that's your benchmark.
Yeah.
A visual representation is of the benchmark of your performance.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. That's how I try to look at it. But look, I'm human at the end of the day, and I think everyone has body dysmorphia to some degree.
Yeah, and talking off the back of what you've said, like obviously for me it might be performance related, or for someone else it might be business related. I think there's a massive form of comparison which will cause them to not be happy with where they are.
100%.
What would you say for the person who they've dieted down but they're still not happy with the way they look? Is that something that they need to resolve internally?
I'd agree. So yeah, because I think that why aren't you happy? I think like everything comes down to whys, doesn't it? Like why aren't you happy? What are you not actually happy with? What you're visually looking like? Do you want bigger biceps? Do you want bigger quads? Or do you want bigger glutes? So if you're a female, for example, like being stereotypical, it's like, but why aren't you happy? Like what are you actually looking for? Because at the end of the day, if you're comparing yourself to the upper echelons of people who've got great genetics, it's like you're never going to be like them. So all you can be is the best version of you. And are you making progression on a month-to-month, week-to-week, year-to-year basis? Done that the wrong way around, but you get the point. It's like, because all you can do is compare to yourself at the end of the day. Even when it comes to business, it's like business world now in our industry is horrendous, and it's like 10k months, 15k months. If you're not hitting this, it's like you're not performing well. It's like, fucking hell, 10k months. It's more than fucking GPs.
Yeah.
When you think of it logically, if you take yourself out of the fucking fitness world that we're in, you earn more than dentists. And all you do is sit on your fucking laptop.
Do nothing.
Do you know what I mean? It's like there's not, when I say all you do is sit on your laptop, like our job is still very demanding.
Yeah.
But we're not putting needles in people's mouths like dentists. Like there's not that higher responsibility of what they have. So that you're always going to compare to some degree. Like you always are, but it's like take a step out and go, have you done better year to year? And it's always about your own performance. And if you haven't, address it.
Yeah. And there's a subjectiveness of social media as well, like you just spoke about with the business of when you open up your phone, there's someone who's doing 10, 15, 20k months. Same with your physique. If you open it up and you see Bumstead, like we just spoke about off there, and he's unreal genetics.
Do you want to tell everyone what you let Bumstead do to you?
Nobody has got a lisp. That is his pitfall. We've already clarified that.
You're fucking cancelled, aren't you, for saying that? Fucking might want to edit that out.
I love you, Bumstead. Please come on this podcast one day. No, but you have to take into consideration that these people are completely different to you. There's only one version of you. Yeah, and you need to be happy with what you've currently got going on. Yeah, you can change things, but just have realistic goals.
100%. That's like, I just said before, there's only one you. Like, I know this phrase YOLO that everyone used to think, but to be fair, you might be young. But everyone used to say about like 10 years ago, maybe even not like, but you do only get one life.
Yeah.
It's like you do, it's like, just enjoy your life.
Yeah.
It's like, enjoy every aspect of it, because right now, me doing this podcast with you, this is the only time that I'm going to get to do this podcast, this moment in time with you. Yeah. So enjoy being in the present moment. And I think a big change for me personally was when my nephew was born. And like, it just changed my perspective on the world. Just did. It's like, he's a fucking precious little thing. And it's like, that every single like second is like a new second for him. It's like he's learning things, developing things. And I do think a lot of people, they think about the next year and the next week of what they're going to achieve and all this kind of thing. It's like, just be present and enjoy the life you got now.
Yeah, I think I've spoken about that before on a podcast where if you're constantly chasing something all the time, there's no sit back, relax, and actually enjoy what's currently going on. And then you're going to get to that goal that you want to get to, and you're going to be looking back and thinking, what's actually happened over the last 5 years?
I also think nobody's ever happy when you get to the destination, so you've got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Like I'd like to feel I'm butchering what Callum says. Callum's my flatmate, and it's like he does say that. It's like you've got to enjoy the journey, because the journey's what makes it fun.
Yeah.
Like the destination's just the final stop, if that makes sense. But it always changes. You know this. It's like, look, where you started 2 years ago to where you are now. Like 2 years ago, you probably didn't think you'd be fucking doing a podcast, getting all these amazing guests on. but it's like, but you didn't, and it's like, look where you are now. Like, who knows where you're going to be in another 2 years? Like, I've got my own predictions of where you're going to be in 2 years, and it's like, it's not going to be here. It's going to be fucking 10 times in a different place. Like, I think your podcast is just going to elevate him. And being honest, I've really enjoyed listening to it personally, and if it's like, but it's like you enjoy this now.
Yeah.
Because this is here now. Like, without being morbid, it's like you might not get to see tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would you want to waste the last few days or like last few hours just fucking worrying about something you don't have control over?
So true. There's that cliche quote on Rocky. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like, there is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. And obviously you hear those motivational videos and you hear these quotes, but I think because so many people listen to them all the time and they're constantly regurgitated on TikTok and Instagram, people don't actually take away the message from them because they just hear them and it gives them that kick up the arse. They don't actually sit and think about what the person's trying to say. And like you just said there might not be a tomorrow, so you've got to really appreciate what is going on right now. And that's so important in any industry or aspect of your life.
I think I called my mum on the way here and I was talking to her about things like prep. And it's like, it's a different kind of enjoyment because you restrict yourself so much, when you come out of it, you appreciate things you've not had a lot more. So like, I can't wait to sit down and have a Sunday roast with my family.
I will be there.
Do you know what I mean? I just can't wait because like, I haven't had this since mid-Feb. Yeah. So it's like, because of deprived myself of it to some degree, however you want to word it, and like all these anti-diet people are going to have a go at me for saying the word deprived. But it's like, I can't wait for it because I'm going to appreciate the moment of sitting around the table with my mum and dad, my sister, my baby nephew, Sam, my sister's husband, and just chill and enjoy. Maybe Charlotte, if she's invited.
And that was one of the things I was going to ask you. When it comes to dieting, and obviously you're putting yourself into that deprived place, which a lot of people probably will disagree with, but that's just the aim of the game at the end of the day. That's what you've got to do when you're a bodybuilder. What benefits in regards to your mentality does it give you that then you can take into your life? Does it give you that extra gratitude? Does you improve your routine?
Oh, routine 100%. Routine's like, it improves your routine dramatically because you've got to get shit done. It's like, so like I was up at 4:30 this morning, checking done by 5, food prep by 5:30, extra supplements.
Yeah.
Everyone knows what they are. Taken by like 5:45. And it's like, you have to get shit done because I have to train by 10.
Yeah.
So I have to be on this podcast. So it's like, you've got to get a routine. So routine definitely helps improving. The aim is always to take that routine into, and I'm very routine driven. So my routine doesn't really differ even in off season, but it's definitely more regiment in a diet phase. But like discipline.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, that's what this, like, I hate people who fucking moan about prep. Like, I've got a big thing about people who, like, say prep ruined their life and all this. It's like, why can't you just say prep? You just didn't have a good experience and prep's not for you.
Yeah.
It's like, bodybuilding isn't for everyone. It's not. It's really, really not. And it shouldn't be for everyone because it is a really extreme sport. Like, where I am now, it's like, it's really not a healthy position to be in. And you accept that. And it's like, but I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's like, I enjoy it. Like, some people doing ultra marathons, that's not fucking healthy. Do you know what I mean? That's fucking battering your body, but people enjoy it, excuse me, for whatever reason that may be. But definitely discipline, because at the end of the day, it's like, you do have to say no to things. You do have to put yourself in situations which can be quite challenging, and then that goes over into other aspects of life.
Well, I think there's two ways of suffering, and there's the suffering of you staying in the same position, not making any changes, and then 5 years down the line you look back and you think, I'm nowhere where I want to be. Or there's a suffering of going, taking action now, being disciplined, trying to be committed, and then actually getting to the goal and getting to the place where you want to be. And both of them are going to be the same sort of suffering, but they're both going to have two completely different outcomes. And I think with dieting, I think a lot of people can look at bodybuilding and think it's not healthy. And like you just related it there to the ultra marathon, I think people don't realise that any sport to any sort of extreme level, there's going to be some sort of sacrifice. 100%. You could even look at a footballer and say, oh, he doesn't spend enough time with his family because they're training all the time. It's not just that because bodybuilders don't eat as much that, they've still got other stuff going on in their lives. Everyone's got to sacrifice something to become successful in whatever they want to do. But the routine part from dieting and bodybuilding, like I remember when I did a diet for a photo shoot, it's one of the best things I could recommend to someone, because once you get into that routine and you realise how easy it is to get other things done outside of dieting and getting in shape, you don't want to stop doing that. Like I found it quite difficult coming out of a diet, going into like a gaining phase, eating more food, where you're not as in much of a good routine anymore. Your routine kind of falls off, and I'm like, fuck, I just want that routine back. So I look forward to dieting.
But why can't you just be in a routine and surplus anyway? What difference does it make?
That's what I'm doing now.
That's a challenge though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, but why can't you? And it's like, in regards, like, just that, to finish your question there, what does dieting make you appreciate? It's like, for me, it's like, you're not going to die. Like, I'm still eating food. It's like, it makes you appreciate the situation that people are in. So like, when you see homeless people, or when you think about other countries where they have to walk to get water and all this, like, at the end of the day, like, dieting's a privilege, prep's a privilege. That's a good common saying. I think it was Louis Rano who said that prep's a privilege. It's like I'm choosing to eat less food. I'm in a fortunate position that I'm choosing to eat less.
And at the end of the day, when you're dieting, your body does not know that it's dieting. It thinks it's starving. You are slowly starving the body.
Yeah, so to some degree, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you said, you will become more appreciative for the food that you eat.
And also, it's like, I have a choice every single day that I can go to fucking Mackey's. There's 9 chicken selects. Apparently, I'm fucking off. I drove past the bus stop before. It's like, you've got these choices. Like, it's up to you what you make a decision. But you said the discipline. And yeah, it makes you more appreciative of other things in life.
And then when you step on stage, it's that belief that you've done every single thing in your power. Yeah. So to step on stage and be like, right, I look the best I possibly can do because I've ticked every single box that I was going to do.
And I think what people need to understand when it comes to step on stage as well, it's like, as long as you've ticked all the boxes and you've done all you can, it's out of your hands. It's up to the 5 judges or however many judges there are to judge you. And people need to understand it's a judge sport. Like, you get judged. So if you step on stage and people are saying, well, you've got shit biceps, it's like, well, that is what it is. It's like, you are getting judged for the physique that you bring.
Yeah.
And it's like, as long as you don't take them judgments to heart, you go, okay, cool, that's what I need to bring up. And it's like, it's that perception of what people say. So instead of going home and crying into a tub of Ben & Jerry's, it's like, okay, cool, what's the next steps for me then? Because I also agree, I think the most challenging thing for me is the reverse part out of it. Because you have been in that, like, I've been dieting since mid-Feb. You've been in so regimented for such a long period of time of calorie deficit, steps. Like, I've not done any cardio, so I'm very, very fortunate this time, but it's like X, Y, and Z. And then now it's like, okay, cool. So I have to now do the reverse of that to some degree and slowly put on weight. But I can't, to be honest, I can't wait to put on weight because I can't wait. Because sitting down hurts my arse right now. So I can't wait to put a little bit more body fat on because I understand the health implications it's having. But it is a very, very difficult transition, yeah.
And obviously when you're in that routine and you're working towards that goal, there's going to be some mistakes as well on the way.
100%, yeah. Yeah, of course. Like mistakes happen. Like life happens. Mistakes happens, and just learn from them.
Has there been any big mistakes in your prep this time round? Or any struggles?
No. To be fair, like I'll give Kuba a lot of credit. To be fair, how he's prepped me has been quite awesome. Like, I don't really struggle in regards to when I'm like this, I'm not 100% myself. So even though I might seem quite bubbly, just to everyone watching, I'm even more bubbly. But like,
and everyone watching, Ali is 1 week out from competing.
Yeah, eight days, so technically one more day on that. But anyway, it's like I don't like not being myself. I don't like being tired because it's not me. It's like I like to be energetic and whatnot. So that's hard. It's hard, like, because you can't be arsed seeing your family. Like, besides, I put, like, in regard to mistakes, I took the wrong amount of Winnie because I didn't read the tub properly. So you do silly things like that. I've put shit in the microwave which shouldn't have gone in the microwave. You do dopey things.
Yeah.
And like you've got less patience in regards to, like, so sometimes when I make a whey paste I put it in the fridge, in the freezer, sorry, and I took it out the freezer and Cal just come back from his travels fucking watching people compete and we give a big hug and then I got it out the fridge and then just smashed on the floor and I just felt like crying, just like, oh fuck's sake. But yeah, like you think they're like the little things that happen on day-to-day life anyway, they're like 10 times worse because like that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't in prep, but it fucking would have because I'm a dope anyway. So it would have happened anyway, but you make it 10 times worse. So you exaggerate things a little bit in your own mind, but besides them little things. Oh, but by the way, well, like I took Winnie wrong for 3 days. I rectified my mistake.
And you shall know.
You make little. You're always going to make mistakes in life, aren't you? Like that's going to be like a common thing, and it's like just learn from it, but don't beat yourself up. Like one thing I've really tried to do through this prep is like not be so anal in regards to like, no, if it's 124 grams of cream and rice or 126, but I'm supposed to have 125, be okay with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like that relaxed mindset, in my opinion, especially for someone like me, I'm quite sympathetically driven, dominant. So it's like that bit more of a relaxed mindset has definitely helped. Because at the end of the day, like when people start to understand that like 100 grams of chicken from Tesco and 100 grams of chicken from Asda, it's not going to be the same. It's not. It's like the same chicken. Like if you have 2 chickens there and you have 100 grams of chicken breast, they're going to be different calories because that chicken's going to be really different. It's the consistency that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
When people understand consistency is what wins, that's how you get results.
Yeah, and becoming so anal with like the amount of grams that you're having for cream of rice or your chicken breast meal coming out the back of the diet. If you still have that mentality, it's a struggle then for you to go away from that.
Yeah, but it's like for me, it's like, don't get me wrong, if it's 128, I'll take like 3 grams off. But it's like, you know, like when it's just there about, I'm not that bothered. And what was the question? Sorry.
I was just saying, like when you do come out the back of a diet and you've had that mentality of being so rigid with things.
It makes it much harder. Yeah, because it's like because you have been in, it's like, but now you're allowed to eat. I think it's the fact that you're now allowed to some degree to eat more food. That's the hard part. 'Cause it's like, but I haven't been allowed for so long, and you've been living this way for so long. But the quicker you can flip that mindset, and the quicker you can understand the physiological changes that are going to happen from a health perspective, is what's important. That's how you can change your personality. Because look, like most people are doing this for a while. Like they're going to be in shape all year round to some degree. Like they're not going to push the body fat that high in an off season. So you're still in shape compared to 90% of the population. Yeah. Stop comparing yourself to the 1% who step on stage. Because that's for a very, very short period of time over their life. So don't compare yourself. Just like make sure you make the improvements.
And I think literally, I think I seen a study the other week, and it was like 64% of the whole population is classed as overweight or close to being obese. And it's like, if you're trying to get really lean, you're comparing yourself to such a small group of people who are actually in shape. So cut yourself some credit. Yeah. Why do you think so many people are out of shape?
Convenience. Like everything's fucking easy, isn't it? Like I had to go Cal yesterday because he fucking ordered water from One Stop. It's a 3-minute walk. Convenience. Yeah. Like Amazon. Like literally you can just order anything off your phone, can't you? Yeah. So if you go into supermarkets now, this would be, I don't know if you ever realised this, but what's at the front of supermarkets? sugar shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what they advertise straight away.
Yeah.
On the flip side, though, it's never been easier to diet.
Yeah.
Sugar-free syrups, low-calorie sauces.
Yeah.
Like, it's like 15 years ago, it was chicken, rice and broccoli.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have the fucking luxury of thinking flavour drops or low-calorie tomato sauce and all this kind of thing. So it's like, it's easier to diet now in so many ways. But I think the convenience, the efficiency, and people are more lazy now. Like, if you look at, like, say, what it was 40 years ago, people were a lot more active. Like, if you think of, like I haven't played on a PlayStation in a long time, but I used to love playing on PlayStation. I think that's all kids do nowadays, is they play on the PlayStation a lot from a young age, and they don't go out and play football or play rugby if you're from Wigan. Like, it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I do think that has a massive effect, and I think parents are probably working longer. Because parents are working longer, they might not be playing with the kids as much. I do think there's a lot of factors that come to it. And then obviously when you've built them trends up from a young age, you then take that into adulthood. I'm not speaking for everyone here, but I do think, because my mum works in school, like, it's a lot easier to throw your kid in front of an iPad.
Yeah.
And I do think that convenience of life makes everyone a little bit more lazy.
And it makes, like you said, if you're carrying that on from a childhood and then you're going into adult life, whether you're going to university and you can just order the Domino's straight to your door, it's just so much easier. So I think a lot of people have become lazier based off the fact that there's more convenience, but then it's having that discipline and mindset that you don't want to be like that. You want to be healthier. You want to put yourself into uncomfortable situations, because that's when you're going to grow. When you go back to the dieting, do you feel like you gained a lot of self-control? Because obviously, like you just spoke about the convenience of going into the supermarket and there's a sugary shit, driving past the bus stop and the 9 chicken selects or 5 chicken selects are on sale. How hard is it to have that self-control? Or how do you...
I'm a bit weird with food. I'm not a big foodie. I'm gonna say, like, I like my food, don't get me wrong, that's not like that's not what I'm saying, but like, if we went to Mackey's or we went to Nando's or we went to Michelin-starred restaurants, or I'm not asked about where I went for food. It's more the company. I just like going out for food with people that I like and have conversations. But like, in regards to like the more control, it's like you are in control of what you do, because everything does have to be a little bit more specific and a little bit more structured, because you will have to eat, for example, 5 or 6 times a day. So it's like your meals are sort of prep. Like, I love going on a meal plan.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about what I have to eat. Just tell me what to eat.
Yeah.
And then I can just prep that, because then when you prep your food, it's more efficient throughout the day. It's get out the fridge, put it in the microwave, put it back in put it in the pan, heat it up, and go and eat it. Or eat it cold, like I will be in the car after this. It's like, I love that. But I also do try and take that into off-season improvement phases, like whether you want to call it off-season gainer phase, whatever the fuck you want to call it nowadays. It's like, I do like to take that into them, because I like being efficient. And then I don't like to waste time. Because I'd rather spend my time doing things that I like to do, whether that be having conversation with people, my job, improving myself, whatever it may be.
And how would somebody go about figuring out what it is that they need to do, in your opinion?
In regards to?
So if they're somebody who's wanting to prioritise something to do with work, or if they need to diet and they're trying to do that next thing, how would you obviously have your values in order, where it's like, right, I want to prioritise my routine because it's going to make me more efficient with work, more efficient with training. How would someone go about understanding
what works for them kind of thing? Okay, so in regards to, like, they need to figure out what their values are as an individual. So Dr. DiMartini, I think that's what it is, does a valuation test on the internet. It's free of charge.
Sick.
It's like, it's quite a good way to see where your values lie. So understand what your values are, and then if it is like you want to prioritise a routine, it's like, get the hard things done in the morning.
Yeah.
Because they're the hardest task. So when you take a hard task off, you feel like you've won it anyway.
Yeah.
Like, if you're an early riser, get the stuff done. But on the flip side, I've seen people say this, like, if you're more productive of an evening, get your shit done of an evening. So figure out what works for you as an individual, because as we know within this industry, everyone's different. Like, everyone likes a different kind of routine. For me, I love getting all my shit done by 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Like, my big stuff, and then at the end of the day, it's more like just replying back to clients, or maybe some social media work, writing, educating, because I am more productive of a morning.
Yeah.
And of an evening, I'm not that much productive, but I get up dead early and I go to bed dead early because I'm old.
And when you take those big tasks off at the start of the day, then it's like looking at the rest of them, these are easy.
Yeah.
I can easily do
But also, it's like, because you can take the big tasks off, it's like the little tasks could always carry over.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a journal called the High Performance Planner.
Yeah.
So it's like, I've got my main task to do today, and then the little tasks that don't have to be done but will eventually need to be done. So if I get my big task done, I can take off a little task, and then other little tasks may carry over to the next day. But I've got to make sure I get the big task done first, because the big tasks are the most important thing for that day.
And when you've got those big tasks, do you find sometimes it's easy to get distracted, or how do you just lock in and think, right, I'm doing this?
I don't know. Like priorities, like at the end of the day, it's like it's what you said before. It's like discipline. It's like where do you want to be in 5 years? It's like what you used that before, like about that discomfort. It's like I don't want to be in the same place in 5 years. Like I want to be bigger, better than what I already am in regards to this industry as a person. It's like I want to be a fucking awesome uncle. Do you know what I mean? So it's like for me to be able to do that, I need to improve on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. So you're putting yourself in a situation where you're not necessarily suffering, but it's something that's difficult. It's a hard task, but you're having to push yourself through it because you know on the outside of doing that task, you're going to be a better person.
Yeah, and also like I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. Like I'm very, very fortunate. I enjoy what I do.
Yeah.
So it's like even though it's a hard task and sometimes it can be mentally challenging, it's like I love what I do. I'd rather do my job than anything else in the world. But for people who don't like the job, and they can't find something that they like to, because there was I think I sent it to you, like Chris Williamson. It's like people always try and find the passion. It's like find what you're good at and do what you're good at, whether or not you love it or not. Do what you're good at, because then if you're good at something and you can make a good career out of it, you can then do what you love as a hobby kind of thing. And if you're good at something, do it. It's like it's your duty to do it if you're good at something.
Yeah, but then if you're still good at something, there will still be times when that good thing feels bad.
Oh, 100%. And I think this is where sometimes
people struggle.
I think like this is a great concept for coaches to really understand. Like we're so obsessed about our job that sometimes we need to take a break away from our job to appreciate our job. Like I've not had a holiday since like October last year, something like that. And like I need to, and like I can't wait to have a little break. And I still work, but just have a break from that routine, because then you get to appreciate what you're doing more. I think people who do the same thing day in, day out, then they can't appreciate what they're doing because they're just doing it all the time. It's like what we were saying before about like when you're dieting or you're seeing yourself. Because you don't take yourself out of looking at yourself, you can't actually appreciate probably how much hard work you've done. And that's why I think it's always a good idea to take a step back, sit back and reflect of what you've actually done. So if you look at yourself, like where you were last year to where you are this year, you might not think you've made a big jump, but you have. Like I've known you for a long time now. I've seen the progression that you've made as an individual. But if you sit back and go, okay, where was I last year? Where am I now? And then you write the list of facts of the changes that you've made as an individual, you can visually see that you've improved.
And even just doing that simple task of going and writing and reflecting for 5, 10, 15 minutes, it's so important because it puts things into perspective massively. You can just get so caught up in being busy 24/7. And we had a guy on the podcast, Matt.
Listen to it.
2 or 3 episodes ago. It was so good, mate. And he was talking about like all the characteristics you take from everything in your life, even if it's going into the gym and you're doing that top set on the leg press, how hard that actually is. You just going through that hard thing, you're then going to take that into the next thing. And it's just, I think it's so important that people need to realise that every single thing that they do in their day-to-day life has some sort of impact on the way they do everything else.
In regards to like writing lists, I like this phrase in regards to, and I sort of come up with myself, but I sort of didn't. It's like Chris Williamson, but I sort of Alex Hormozy butchered it a little bit. So do you know, like when people talk about affirmations in the mirror? Just write a list of facts of who you are. Because that's who you are. Like it's like if you write a list of facts of who you are as an individual, like this self-doubt that you may have, there's proof that you're not that person. So it's always good to sit down and go, okay, what have I achieved? What have I done as an individual? Who am I? Or who do I perceive myself to be? Is it that person that I'm sort of saying who I am and who I'm nervous of, or who I'm sort of fabricating myself to be kind of thing? No, because there's a list of facts that I'm not that person. So like that sort of self-made belief person that is making you nervous or scared isn't actually factually correct. That's the facts that are correct.
And then becoming more at one with that person, then you'll live the life that you want to. I think that can be caught up with people's personality and people's egos and also people's perception on what other people think as well. Because if you're doing certain things, and I've spoken about this on the podcast before as well, to please other people, then you're not being true to your own values and your own morals, and then you're not actually going to act out the way that you want to, and then 2 years, 3 years down the line, you're not happy with where you currently are.
Completely agree,
A question I was going to ask in regards to suffering and how people push themselves out of the comfort zone to grow. What do you say to the person who's in a situation right now who, whether it's coaching, whether it's business related or training, or it might just be someone who's trying to release the next music piece or trying to do something, it could be anything, and they're just trying to develop to be above average. Why do you think so many people get to a certain point and they just stick there and then they don't grow any further?
Comfort. Ease. Like we all like to, as much as we, like me and you were talking about now about progression, it's a lot easier just to stay still.
Because that's one of the things that I think a lot of people on podcasts don't speak about, how obviously we're always chasing that, reach that next goal 5 years down the line, what we're going to look like. But some people just get to a point and it's like, no, I'm good now.
But that's also okay. I think that's what people like. There's not like, okay, my sister's life is my worst nightmare. like in regards to like she wants 2 holidays a year. I am speaking for you here, Lorna, so I do apologize. She wants 2 holidays a year. I think she wants another kid. She wants to be married, like, and like she just like live life like quote unquote like a normal person, like that 2.2 semi-detached.
Yeah,
it's my worst nightmare.
Yeah,
but for her, that's her 10 out of 10 life. So everyone's a different version of life. Everyone's like what they visualize life is different. So it's like live your life how you visually see it, and it can change. Like things happen in life to make your priorities change as an individual. And it's like don't be so married to an idea or married to a belief system. Like be very open-minded that other people can come into your life and change your perspective. On certain things.
And other things can happen. As well. We had Andrew Keeler on, and he was saying about how if you want to live a life that you think you want to live, talk to the person who's already living that life, or go and look at the person who's already living that life. Some people will literally see a 15-second clip of someone on TikTok and think, I want to do that, and then start, and then 2-3 months later they're like, I've just wasted 2 months.
But also I think that's because they don't know the values of the person. Like I think people need to understand what their values are. So one of my big values is communication and conversations. I love conversations. I love conversations with people who like fucking love to delve in deep about shit.
Mate, me too. I was literally speaking to Ryan about that before we filmed this episode, how the reason I've set up this podcast is because you want people to listen to conversations like this with the hope and aim that they will take at least one thing from it. And if they do, that's a win.
Yeah, because like you and I have had different life experiences. Like I'm a little bit older than you. Ryan's older than me. How old are you? Oh, you are older than me. Fucking unlucky lad. But it's like we've been on the planet for different amounts of time. Like he's only 3 years older than me, but like I'm a lot older than you. Me and him are both a lot older than you. So like we've seen different things than you've seen. But because you're from a young generation, you've grown up differently as well. So like when it comes to social media, you give me some shit on YouTube Shorts.
Yes,
never
mate.
fucking seen it.
Yeah, man.
Never even fucking knew about it. Do you know what I mean? And so, but that doesn't mean just because I'm older, I'm more experienced. It's like you're more experienced when it comes to YouTube.
Yeah.
So like when you're having these conversations, you get people's different perspectives of the world, of like how they've seen it.
Yeah.
Because like me and my sister grew up, like there's 2 years between my sister and I, but we both got completely different outlooks on the world.
Yeah.
And that's just due to our personalities and our values.
And you learn so much just from having a conversation with someone who's doing something completely different to you.
100%, yeah. I like when people have controversial views to what I do.
Yeah.
As long as they're open-minded to the conversation that you're having, they don't just dismiss what you're saying straight away. So, for example, like Mike used to tell, like, I'm not the biggest fan of his training modalities and like reps and reserve and all this kind of thing. I respect him as an individual. He's a very, very intelligent man. But and I'll listen to his ideas, but I'm not a big believer in it because I've seen proof of the pudding of it working in a different way.
Yeah.
But again, you'd sit down and have a conversation, and as long as like he was like, say for example, you and Mike are now, and we were having a conversation. I've got my belief system, you've got your belief system. I might learn something from you, and you might learn something from me, and then we can both apply that to our own. So it's like we come up with like some kind of agree to disagree, but other people on the podcast or listen to the podcast might go, "Oh, I like that from Dylan," or Mike, you're Mike. I like that from Dylan, Mike. But I also like that from Ali.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try them both and see which one I actually like. Because again, like the more you can learn from other people, because that's how we all do it, isn't it? Like we read books and we read a book of someone's 15 years life in 400 pages. And it's like you can take what you like from it and disregard what you don't. And
some people can get caught up in the fact of listening to the podcast or reading the book and think they've got to live the exact same life.
100%. You've got to live your own version of it.
Yeah, that's so important what you said, where you listen to a conversation, but only take the bits that you need.
And you like, because so I learned when I first started coaching, I was very, very fortunate. Like the company I was brought into, like we got hammered home by anatomy and all this kind of thing. I wasn't smart enough at the time to understand the shit I was saying now. But because like I got taught it, when it gets brought up now, I understand it.
Yeah.
I wasn't clever enough there. So it's like you can still take the information in, but you might not be in a place in life at that moment of time to be able to use it. But it's still there. So like you might read something, so like Jordan Peterson, right, says some stuff, right, and it's fucking complicated, especially if you're like young people. And like 5 years down the line, it's like, fucking hell, what Jordan Peterson says now makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like you can listen to the whole conversation, but as I said, just use what you need at that moment of time. But don't disregard it, or still be open-minded. It might actually come into life further on down the line.
Yeah, with Jordan Peterson, I've read his full book, and I remember getting to the end of it and thinking, I don't actually feel like I've take that much from it. Do you know what I mean? But then certain things will happen, and I'll relate back to certain things that I've read in the book because it just clicks. And it's probably just whether it's me being selective with the things that I'm reading, you just pick up on certain things that you feel like will actually give you some sort of value.
Yeah.
Not everything that you see or read needs to have an impact on your life. Do you know what I mean? You get to choose, that's the best part, but you have to obviously find your values first before you then start going out and trying to do absolutely everything.
Yeah.
It comes with business as well. I feel like a lot of people, and Alex Hormozzi has probably said this loads, is they're entrepreneurs and not entrepreneurs. They'll go on social media, they'll see someone doing property, someone who's a Forex trader, someone who's a PT, someone who buys and sells stuff on eBay or Facebook Marketplace, and then they'll think, right, I'm going to do every single one of them. Do you know what I mean? And then they don't end up actually doing anything because they're too busy getting caught up in wanting to do something.
You have to make one thing successful before you move on to another thing.
Yeah. Have you ever seen his cup analogy? Where it's like he has all 10 cups in a row and he's like, focus on one cup, fill that up to the top, then that'll spill over to the next cup. Don't just try and fill each cup up at a period of time, or else none of the cups will be full.
Yeah, because it's like you've only got so much energy, haven't you?
Yeah.
It's like I say this all the time, like you give your energy to people that you want to give your energy to.
Yeah.
Don't waste it on people who are either not respecting you, don't respect your time, or are not giving you anything actually in return.
And how would you go about recognising that someone's not, I don't want to say not adding value to you, because I don't feel like you should have friendships and relationships where everybody should add some sort of value, but how do you go about understanding if somebody's not giving you what you need, but not being respectful to the values that you have?
Just probably like from like the time and effort that they put into you.
Yeah.
If like they don't put time and effort into you, but you're making a lot of effort for them,
yeah,
then either they're up there and like you might just ask them how you're getting on, because everyone might be caught up in something in life and you're just not aware of it. So like if someone's going through some personal shit and you're like, well, fucking I've reached out to him about 5 times and he hasn't really got back to me, but you've not actually said, hey, is everything okay? It's like you might not know where they are, but if they're not giving you what you've got to manage your own expectations. Okay, this is how I like look at it. So I like to talk to people, I like to give a lot for people. Just because I like to do that doesn't mean everybody else is going to do that to me. So it's like you manage your own expectations. Like I can't expect to, like, for example, we jump on a call every single morning, I mentor you and like I try and make you the best coach ever. I can't expect you to fucking jump on Instagram every day and go, fucking Ali's amazing, all this. That's up to you if you want to do that or not.
Yeah.
But if I expect that of you, that's wrong on my behalf.
Yeah. And then you're going to be let down with the outcome anyway.
Yeah, just be who you are. And like I said, if people aren't giving you if people aren't giving you what you want, then just leave them to the side.
And like you said, if somebody is going through a tough time who's in a close-knit friendship group, or somebody who you know, or even if it's just a random person that you end up speaking to, and they're really frustrated and they're being like short with you, or they're being what you'd perceive as nasty towards you, you don't actually know what they're going through. So just let them be. I think a lot of people need to take a lot more self-responsibility and not just think that everyone in the world's against them. If someone's unhappy, sometimes it might not have anything to do with you.
You said before something like, why is loads of people obese now and all this? Because people are weaker.
Yeah.
People are weaker now.
100%.
Like I'm not going to get cancelled or this kind of thing, so I'm not going to say half the shit that's going through my head right now. But it is a weaker society now.
Yeah.
Like 50 years or 6 years ago, however long, people went to war. Nobody's doing that now. Like if you look at Ukraine, fucking the UK wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I do think people have got weaker drive and just focus and discipline compared to what people did have. Again, I do think that is due to convenience, but also I do think that is just the people fucking trying to make the world a lovely place. The world's not a nice place.
Yeah.
The world's a horrible place.
Yeah.
And like when people understand the world's a horrible place, it's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Make sure you make your little world a nice place.
Yeah, 100%. And I also think with what you said, a lot of people are becoming weaker, and I think it's just because, well, I don't think this is 100% the reason, but I think it's so easy to drag someone down now than what it would have been maybe 10, 15 years ago, because you don't have social media. So if you didn't like someone, you'd have to go and say it to the face. Yep. You don't just type it out on Instagram and send it as a comment, or send it as a DM, or put a comment on TikTok with an undisclosed username and a fake profile picture. You had to actually be face to face with that person and say, I don't like what you're doing.
Yeah. Hardly anyone would have the balls to go up and say what they think to a lot of people nowadays. It's so easy to type shit in it.
Yeah.
Like exactly what you just said then. It's like school, I'd hate to be in school now. Think, man, at least when I got fucking the shit took out of me, it was said to my face.
Yeah.
It wasn't a fucking WhatsApp group, maybe, but no, it definitely wasn't, because WhatsApp was even more than a thing then, I don't think. Like a private group. Yeah. Fucking everyone just slagging me off, and I didn't even know about it. Like growing up now would be fucking really, really difficult.
Yeah.
And I do think that's potentially, quote unquote, like where a lot of mental health challenges are coming now, because no one's actually fucking genuine.
No.
Like you don't actually know if anyone's actually being genuine, not unless they're a true friend. But you said before about people bringing people down. Like I done a story about Cal yesterday, because like Cal's been fucking awesome in this prep, and all you do is hear people slagging off other people and all this on social media, and so I thought, I'm going to just say what I appreciate, because I think if more people done that about other people, social media would be a nice place. Like social media is a great place. I wouldn't have met half the people that I know now if it wasn't for social media, but there is defo a negative, fucking defo, like an old child, but there is definitely a negative side to it, and a very, very, I don't want to say dark and evil side, but it must be hard for some people.
I think a lot of people want to see you do well, but they don't want to see you do better than them.
I don't think people want to see anyone do well.
I think they do. I think a lot of people would be happy for sharing you on your story if they've seen you do a bodybuilding competition, or sharing the friend on the story who's just done the first white collar boxing match. Yeah, but I think a lot of people jump on the bandwagon when somebody's doing well, but as soon as they feel like they're doing it a little bit better than them, they'll drag them down.
Okay, I agree with that.
Do you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of people can easily comment on someone's picture when they've just passed the university degree, but then when they post the next picture saying that they're starting their own PT career, it's like, no, I'm not liking that.
Yeah,
you're all right. You're on your own now.
Yeah, but we've always been judgmental.
Yeah,
we always judge a book by its cover. You do. Now, you just shouldn't let that judgment determine the value of what you see that person as. You should get to know the person. Like, everyone judges a person when they first see them.
Yeah,
of course they do. It's like, it's impossible not to. Yeah, you just don't let that decision.
And that's just instilled in you as a human.
Of course,
100%. There's nothing you can really change about it. There was actually something I was reading in a book the other day, and he was saying how when you are younger, obviously parents say to you, don't talk to strangers. You should never speak to a stranger. Like, they're always be aware that you shouldn't go anywhere near them. But then as you get older, if you still carry that into your future life, you might struggle to interact with new people. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, I'm not saying you should go and speak to every single person that you see, like every single Tom, Dick and Harry that you see on the street, but accepting that, you know, you have to have these awkward conversations with people sometimes.
I love a chatting queue. Yeah. It's a random person.
Or a chat in the taxi.
Yeah, I love it. It's like, again, it's like, I remember Cal said he got a taxi somewhere, and he said, like, he had one of the best conversations with the taxi driver.
A lot of people are too scared to even speak to people, never mind actually confront someone.
They're also just on the fucking phones.
Yeah.
All the time.
We spoke about this on the podcast the other day. We were saying, like, the average screen time.
It's scary, innit?
Yeah, it's insane. It's
scary. But, like, me and you are probably on it a lot.
Yeah.
We justify it for our business. But I wonder how much time if we didn't flip in between Instagram and what work we were doing and whatnot, because, like, we do obviously speak to our clients on our phones. So, like, that is going to bring your screen time up. But again, I wonder how much actual work we do on it. Know if you could actually break it down.
One of the things I'm trying to do at the minute is, when I am on my phone, like, say it's in between a client or a client's cancelled, I've got a book that I just keep in my bag that I keep with me all the time, and I'll just, as soon as I catch myself, right, I'm going to read instead. Just trying to stop myself from just getting into those.
But at least you're aware of it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and you're setting things up for you to stop doing it. It's like, people should not be on the phones when they drive.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. It's fucking stupid. Right? I'll admit, sometimes I do it, but you really, really shouldn't. Because nothing's that important than fucking paying attention to the road.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like, we're so distracted by that fucking screen now.
Yeah.
It is scary.
And a lot of people become a creature of habit. Like, if that phone buzzes or that phone rings, it's so instant. Why don't you have that mentality when it comes to going to the gym, or when it comes to picking up a book, or comes to going actually doing real work? It's crazy. And that goes back to how easy things are these days, where the convenience of going into the shop and being overweight, the convenience of going to the pub and getting a pint with your mates, or the convenience of just tapping Apple Pay and gambling half of your wage on a football match. Everything is so easy. So you need self-control.
And also, like, when you're saying about gambling as well, it's like, you don't have to go to the betting shop anymore. So it's like, you can do it in privacy now.
Mate, you literally just have to scan your face, and that's £10 gone on a bet. I tell you that from personal experience.
Yeah, but it's like, and like, there's nothing wrong with gambling as long as it's in control.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, there's nothing wrong with, like, I think Andrew said this, didn't he, in regards, like, no, I don't give a shit what you do as long as it's not hurting or offending other people, kind of thing.
And one of the things with gambling as well, which I think is crazy, is you can go and watch an England game, or you can go and watch
like what we're all going to do tonight and be depressed.
I know, I'm talking about England because obviously they're on at the minute. Luckily, this podcast will be on next weekend, so we don't know if we've got through. But when you are betting on something, whether it's a horse race or a football game, you don't get to choose the odds. If you're trying to better yourself and get in shape, the odds are in your favour. If you want to change something and fix your routine, or stop working at a certain job and trying to start something else, you can bet on yourself. And a lot of people just don't even think that that's an option. Do you know what I mean?
Like, it's a lot more difficult if you've got more responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can't be naive to the fact of, you're like a single mum, with 2 kids, and you're 32.
100%.
It's like, it's not as easy going, well, just fucking quit your job and do something you love. Or something you think you're good at.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're fucking 20, you haven't got any responsibility, you still live at home with your mum and dad, that's the fucking time to go for something. Don't complain about it. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? That's like the phrase I like to look at. It's like, the worst thing for me is still be in the same position 5 months from now, fucking moaning about the situation.
Yeah.
I'd rather try it, and if it didn't work, it didn't work. Learn from it. Yeah. Like the Kobe Bryant said this, like, in regards to, he was playing a basketball game, and it was coming to, like, at the end of the season, I think it must have been the playoffs, and he carried on missing his free throws. And what he come to realise was, it's the fact of, he said he went from like a 46 game to like a 60 game season, I'm completely butchering the story, but he didn't have the legs to finish off the season strong, so he went back and worked on it. So you go back, okay, why didn't that work? If I really want to achieve it, why didn't that work? Analyse it, make the improvements needed.
Negative feedback is so important, because if something goes wrong where he's realised that he might not have the legs to finish that season, or if someone's trying to progress in the gym with the weight and they're realising it's just not budging, you then have to have the education and the knowledge to sit back and think, what's not working, how can I fix it? That's how I'm going to move forward.
Don't complain about it.
Yeah.
But don't do the same, like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. If you keep doing the same diet shit, training shit, and your physique's not changing, something needs to give.
Yeah, 100%. Mate, we're going to have to wrap this up, but this has been an absolute pleasure.
Am I allowed back on?
I was just literally going to say, we're going to have you on in the future.
See, 'cause I'm
100%. You'll be on.
I'll have a little bit more of a fatter face, though.
There'll be an Ali 2.0 episode coming over the next couple of months.
9 chicken selects there as well. It's like, nah,
we'll do a mukbang. You can come on and we'll just have a feast.
Yeah,
that's what we'll do. 100%. No, honestly, it's a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. No, thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me on.
If anybody wants to find yourself, where would they go to?
So I think my Instagram handle's coach_Ali Fraser. I think, because I changed it about 4 months ago and I can't remember what it was. So Instagram, I'm assuming you'll tag me in there.
I'll bang it in the bio.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I've got a YouTube, which is The Training Wizard.
Which I'll also put in the description.
And yeah, just reach out to me on social media. I love conversations. I love trying to help people as much as I can. That's probably how you find
Amazing. Well, I hope everyone who has listened has took some sort of valuable information from this episode, because I know I definitely have. And if there's anyone who is watching and you're not already subscribed, you're a dickhead.
Yeah, fucking wanker.
You need to subscribe on YouTube and follow on Spotify, please. We've got plenty more guests coming on, and the guests are going to get better and better and better, and you'll be seeing Ali again, so why would you not subscribe? Catch you in the next episode.